imagine you woke up tomorrow and had like $1 trillion in your bank account. This was better, you know?
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, Mark.
Hey, how you doing? I am excited to talk to Liz Entin today.
Me too.
She bills herself as a logical atheist. She says there's no proof of God. We can get into that. That's fine. But she spends a lot of time and research, and has proven to herself now that there is an afterlife.
Yeah, well,
That's
it came from a very personal place because her father passed away, and it really hit her hard, and she wanted to find answers to see if maybe perhaps she could speak to him again. She also has a podcast called WTF that talks about all the things that she's found out. She will have a lot of evidence to back up the fact that she believes that there's an afterlife and that you can see your loved ones.
Yeah, we're going to get into the studies. We're going to get into the university research. We're going to get into all of that because anybody could say, "Oh yeah, there's an afterlife." She's bringing receipts, from what I understand.
And cool side thing is that she actually testified in the Harvey Weinstein trial.
We're
definitely going to talk to her about that. So anyway, I'm excited.
You don't often get a witness,
Yeah.
right? We'll definitely cover that as well. This is going to be a crazy conversation, but I think, as sort of heady as it is, she has the ability to, I think, ground it in reality and ground it in science. Happy to have you in studio.
Welcome, Liz.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Can you, in your own words, explain how WTF happened?
Yes. Well, sadly, in 2015, my dad passed away. At that point, I assumed an afterlife was fantasy, like about as realistic as the Tooth Fairy. And then I had like my very first thought, you're kind of in that groggy, unclear grief state. And the first thing that came to my mind was, is time travel possible? And I started to think, well, we could be time traveling now and have no idea, depending how our consciousness interacts with time. So I began to read a lot of books about Einstein's theories of time relativity. Time travel's theoretically possible. It's just a little bit hard. We have to be able to find a way to build spaceships that travel at certain speeds. I mean, that's a whole other topic. But theoretically, yes, time travel's possible. Then I began to think, what else is possible? Because then I had a thought. I was like, is there some way, by some mechanism that I can't begin to understand, that any memories carried over if this was true? And I Googled that, and that's where I found Doctors Jim Tucker and Ian Stevenson, child psychiatrists, and they're studying cases of kids with past life memories in a very data-based way. And it was adding up. I read books, I read studies. It was about a month of like huddled in bed, unable to get out of bed, reading everything I could find on those two. And that was the start of an absolute worldview changing experience.
Were you completely driven by the fact that, my dad died in 2010, and I know I had like at least a year of like, what am I doing here? Were you driven by maybe someday seeing your dad again somehow?
Yeah, it was a combination. It was definitely grief and you can't, when you lose someone that's been part of your life your whole life, and someone you love and someone you're close with, it's incomprehensible. I mean, just the joy to be like, oh my God, there's a chance that this isn't it. It was just, I couldn't think of anything. It was like, imagine you woke up tomorrow and had like $1 trillion in your bank account. This was better,
Aww.
And it brought this joy combined with just the worst I've ever felt.
So what was it, your words were, when you investigated this after your father passed, your words were that you were blown away. What was it that blew you away?
Well, first of all, that these researchers were normal. This was the first part. I still get blown away to this day because I keep learning more and more.
Meaning normal by smart people or?
Smart people, they weren't talking like
woo-woos.
Woo-woo. Yeah, they weren't like, ooh, like your actions affect your next life. They weren't all, fluffy. It was just data. They're like, this is what's happening. These kids are reporting these memories, and then we match it up to a family, and it matches. And they weren't jumping to multiple.
That's crazy. Wait a minute. Crazy. I gotta just back up a little bit. I know you probably have another follow-up to that, but so these children weren't just telling stories, like, because I can imagine, like, you're hearing a kid, yeah, in my past life, I met Skippy, my dog.
Yes.
So these researchers realized that these kids were telling stories, and those stories actually matched to other families?
And they would find this with multiple families. I will do a very, very abbreviated version of one of the most famous ones. This was apparently the one that absolutely convinced Dr. Jim Tucker this was real. It's James Leininger. He was having nightmares every night, which apparently can be typical of children with past life memories. So he's under 5 years old, woke up every night screaming, like crying, little plane on fire, little man go down. Plane on fire, little man go down. So this went completely out of anything this little boy would have ever heard. You know, at one point he was taken at, I think 3 years old at this point, to I don't remember if it was like an airplane exhibit or a World War II specific airplane exhibit, but he knew stuff, like he knew these details that only an expert would know. I think he might have even said they got something wrong and it was researched. They trace him to a person who died. He ends up meeting, you know, this person's sister who's now in her 90s. He ends up meeting like the people who'd been in his Air Force with him who were still living. The hair colors of the dolls matched up to 3 men who were in his Air Force with those names.
How old was this kid?
He was under 5. They all have to be under 5 for the case to be valid. And
how many of these kids were there? Yeah, was that what you're going to ask?
No.
Oh, how many cases? There's thousands.
Yeah, I heard one where a child outlined, he was probably 5, and he outlined that he died in the Civil War, and he knew his name, and he knew his wife's name, and they researched it. They found the guy. They saw the battle where the guy died. They knew his wife's name.
First and last names?
I don't know if they had his last name, but he definitely had his first name. He had his wife's first name, and they traced it back to a specific guy who died in a specific battle. So then you say, like, and I'm a skeptic. We all know that. But that's interesting. Like, how do you explain that? And I can't. You explain it. How do you explain it?
I don't know, but I will answer that in what. But I do want to add, since you said you're a skeptic, Carl Sagan commented on the work of Dr. Ian Stevenson. And he said he doesn't think the answer is reincarnation, but he said his research is valid and worthy of serious investigation. He just thinks they haven't come up with the conclusion.
Like, what is it if it's not reincarnation?
I think it is.
Yeah, okay, but Carl Sagan wouldn't say it was.
Carl Sagan didn't think it, but he didn't delve in.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, how do I explain it? I think our consciousness is not created by a brain. I think it's downloaded by a brain in some form we don't understand. And, you know, it downloads into one person, then that essentially uploads when the body passes, and then part of it would download into
downloads and uploads.
The cloud. Where's
the
cloud? Where is it
the
going?
brain cloud.
And
the reincarnation cloud.
Who's at the keyboard?
I believe there's something up there. But I also believe in afterlife. And you're like, how is that possible? And I think he has the same question for you. How is that possible? Because you'd have to, I'm putting words in your mouth, but you believe that you'd have to believe in God to think there was reincarnation.
Well, to believe there's an afterlife, I think you'd have to believe in God.
But why?
I don't understand why either.
Yeah. Why? Tell us.
Where are all of the consciousness, the collective of consciousness, where is it going? And what is the point if there is no God?
But there could be, I have multiple answers for that. First of all, there could be no point. This is just how it could work.
Could always be no point.
Yeah. We have no idea where it goes. Some other dimension, like our 3D material brains can't process it any more than we can process the concept of 360-degree vision, which near-death experiencers seem to have. We can't process a tesseract, the 5th dimension, but there seems to be other dimensions. So
I definitely want to talk to you about dimensions in a second.
Right.
But before we go there, you have no physical proof of an afterlife, and yet you have a knowing that it exists.
No.
Or you are.
That's like like being religious.
No.
You don't have a belief that it exists.
I think there's a preponderance of evidence that it's the most logical conclusion.
Okay. You're leaning heavily into the reasoning and logic, which I appreciate.
You should be a lawyer. That was great. That was really good.
Considering that.
Preponderance of evidence.
Yeah.
But
or even the sat beyond a reasonable doubt, probably at this point.
Got it.
But if I knew
not
them,
for the existence of a God.
I just haven't seen. I mean, that's
it could be God. It could be the universe. It could be the energy. It could be the cells in the air. It could be,
It could be a collective consciousness. I mean,
yes.
I can't say for a fact, no, there's no God. I just have no reason to. I've seen no evidence.
Sure.
It's a huge jump to assume.
It's a leap of faith.
Huge leap of faith.
Yeah.
Right. A leap of faith in both scenarios.
Yes.
For sure.
Wow. Do you believe you're going to meet your dad again one day?
I think probably. I think it's most likely.
In what form?
If I could guess, we're, a form of non-physical, and we probably have like a type of reflection still in our bodies. I can only base that part.
I would love that.
Wasn't that great?
I'm asking selfishly because
Yeah.
I would love to be able to see my dad again someday.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Right?
Where?
Anywhere.
No, I
In
mean,
any
not
sense.
like Starbucks.
I love it. I love it when he comes to my dreams, and
Right, right.
like it's just kind of cool, like to think that maybe that's real, which is
Yeah.
what Bob Ginsburg talked
Yeah.
about too. So that this makes me
It
gives
gives
me
you-
joy
yeah, you're
too.
hopeful.
It's kind of a colorful world for me too. But as
I
a
think
skeptic,
that's the point of this is be hopeful.
Right,
Even
but
if you
for you-
grieve, there's hope. There's hope that you'll see. No, but I think we're saying the same thing. I think
so
I'm
you
just,
think when you go to heaven, you're going to run into people, but that's not reincarnation. Or
I
it's
don't
not
know
afterlife.
that I believe in reincarnation.
Or it's not after. Is it afterlife?
But again, you have there are plenty of examples of kids spouting off past life facts that I can't account for sure.
Right.
But is hope the number one thing that you benefit? Is that the number one way this benefits you? It just makes you more hopeful when you wake up in the morning.
I think hope, curiosity, fascination. I mean, I like to explore the truth. I like to think about things. It seems to be the truth. I mean, it's definitely drawing a conclusion, but based on a vast body of evidence, both data and anecdotal as well. But it's both really joyfully fun, hope, fascinating, all of it.
So you're a skeptic, but you said you've met with how many mediums?
Oh my God, Bob will never let me live
Bob-
this down.
yeah,
And
Bob
Fran
Ginsburg
used to
and
tease
Fran-
me about
yeah,
this
yeah.
too. Like at this point, probably like almost like 80 or something.
Okay. So
Yeah.
tell me
Like
about
80
that.
different readings?
80 different readings. So
If I count like some group readings where
Okay,
I've been
yeah.
volunteering
Count
at
'em all.
Forever Family, yeah. Or like sometimes I'll help, if I take a class, I'll help be a sitter for training mediums. So
Right.
if I bring that all together, I'd say about
because you
80.
volunteered with Bob Ginsburg's organization, right?
Right, but where I do the readings, like for example, I'll take a class on mediumship because I'm interested, and then I'm not a medium, but then they'll know I'm involved. They're like, oh my, are you able to be sit with this medium who's training, and then
Okay.
see how it goes for them.
And how do you know then? Well, that's the same thing we asked Bob Ginsburg. So how would you know if the medium is really reading truthfully or not? Like Mark thinks that they're pretty much all charlatans. I don't believe that. But how do you know?
Okay, so if I'm to go get a reading with a professional medium, I'm not talking about if I sit with someone who's training. A lot of times
Right.
they can not be that good yet, but I can tell they're genuine hearted and they're trying. But in terms of one that's good, like I find one online, I go, or you just completely hide your identity. Fake name, have a friend pay. I use a VPN on my computer so they can't trace me to book everything. If it's, if you have to give a phone number, if it's on the phone, I give a Google Voice number. If it's Zoom, I make a fake account under a different name. If it's in person, again, all fake information, but then they'll see my face. But, I started this research in 2016 where I got my first medium reading. That was before, facial recognition technology. So that wasn't even something to take into account. That's probably something to take into account now. So, you got to think about how to deal with that at this point. But so I go with all that. I say yes, no, maybe. That could make sense. Give a little more information. I say nothing but that. And they know specific things. They're getting names. They're getting specific memories. I mean,
From where though?
From
The cloud.
from
From where? The collective consciousness.
dead people.
From dead people.
Yes.
From dead people.
I
Mediums
think
talk to
most
the dead.
likely.
From dead
yes.
people.
but if there's a collective consciousness, that means information is stored non-physically in some cloud. So why could consciousness not be part of that?
Right.
It could be.
Why can't
It could
why
be.
can't your grandmother or whoever come to this person and talk to them and tell them what to say to
Could be.
this other person?
Right. But there's also an increasing school of thought that says that mediums aren't talking to, if they're talking to the dead person, that they're not actually talking to the dead person. They're speaking to a nefarious spirit
What?
who's pretending to be.
Oh, why?
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, why?
It's out there. People are saying like never go to a medium. They're talking to the darker side.
like
They're
the
just
Ouija board
pretending
stuff.
that this is out there, and it's been talked about a lot,
Yeah.
especially recently.
I mean, that sounds like God, devil. I mean, there's no evidence
So there's
for
no
it.
God or devil.
I
There
don't
is no
think
heaven
so.
or hell.
I don't
No.
think so.
There is just a consciousness that sometimes those conscious thoughts, or I guess their consciousness, it can download into a kid, not necessarily an entire life. A thought or memory can download into a new life, so that kid now knows he also has a memory of dying
Was in
the
World War
Civil
II, and his
Right.
plane went down, and his wife's name is Rose.
Right, so it's not
It's crazy.
reincarnation; it is borrowing consciousness from prior lives.
So Dr. Tucker addresses that because I mean, that's a really logical. It's possible, but it doesn't seem to be the most likely conclusion. First of all, these kids show no other psychic abilities in any other area. They have so much emotion attached. And normally when psychics are getting information, and there's a difference between psychic information and mediumship information, which I can address too. But normally when someone's getting psychic information or mediumship, it doesn't feel so personal. It feels so emotional to the kids. And they have emotions, like they say they miss their other mom or their other dad, and
Wow.
they'll cry, and which is so different than a psychic.
Bananas. I would love to see. Is there a documentary on this? I would love to watch that.
Netflix
there's a
Surviving
couple.
Death
Yeah,
touches
yeah, it
upon
touches on that. Okay,
Jim
okay.
That's the one
Tucker.
I'll check
Robert was
that.
in, right?
Yeah, Robert was in that one.
Surviving
Bob
Death.
Yeah.
Ginsburg, who was another episode that we have you need to check out.
Yes.
That was a great episode.
Go ahead.
That was a great conversation.
Wait, can I just jump in with
Yeah, go.
random number generators?
Sure. So I heard a talk of the most fascinating study on this. Well, there's theories that like our thoughts are inhibiting all of our psychic abilities. So one researcher, Dr. Morris Friedman, I heard him speak at a conference. He had a random, not a number generator, but the same concept where a little circle would either move left or right, and it was set up randomly, and he tried to have people influence it. No
And when they
effect.
try to influence it, are they sitting there and staring at it or thinking in their brain, like, I'm going to influence it so it's all zeros? Like something
Yeah,
like that?
Probably. I mean, I would
Okay.
assume each person does it differently.
Okay.
Maybe some visualization, maybe some
Okay.
verbally,
Okay.
but I would probably try to do a combination of visualization and verbal if I was doing it. I mean, I don't have ability, so it wouldn't do very much, but no effect. That was the control group. He did one group where he did some, electronic wave to a part of the brain that stopped the right side of the brain, and then one that stopped the left side of the brain. And I believe when the left side was stopped through these waves, the same people who can't do it showed significant results.
Whoa.
Which is insane. It's one of my favorite
Doesn't it
presentations.
also like connect with like major world events like 9/11?
Yeah.
Didn't
Yes.
something
Number
happen with the
generator.
random number
Yeah.
generators with that?
That's
sure.
the Global Consciousness
Yeah,
Project
Global
with
Consciousness.
Yes, what
Robert-
happened with that?
That's
Roger Nelson.
fascinating.
Oh, it's so insane. So I don't even know what to think of this. So they set up random number generators around the world and generating ones and zeros. They follow the data. When crazy world events happen, the numbers start coming in non-randomly, like a significant amount of either ones or zeros. I don't remember which, or it might be different, but the whole data, if you look at the data point chart, it just changes, and
Yeah,
it like
it's
goes from
definitely
line.
noticeable.
And now what's crazy is, so this happened at 9/11, and you could think maybe this ties into emotion. The results and non-randomness starts before 9/11.
No.
It started that
Yeah.
like
So like if you start seeing it happening, that means there might be a catastrophic event that's going to
Yeah,
happen.
Global event. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. the
monitoring these
consciousness.
things?
Well, it's all around the world, so it's
Yeah.
all different.
Will they
people.
tell us?
Probably not.
What would they
Probably
tell
not.
you? They're going to tell
Roger
us.
Nelson at the
Roger
Global
Nelson.
Consciousness
Okay,
Project.
so
They're
we'll
open
say-
who monitors it.
You
But
guys,
probably
there's been a
team.
lot of ones and zeros. Like I think there's been like non-randomness happening. There could be a major event that's going to, because people are talking about. I've heard recently, the end of the world again. With all the world things that are happening in the world right now and the war and stuff like that. That World War III could be about to happen. Like
It
I would
could.
really appreciate it if Roger could call me and tell me
Let's
if
have
the
a
numbers
conversation.
stop being random
Yeah.
at any time soon, and maybe we can.
And
Or we
shit's
can talk to
going down.
Rob about that too.
So wait, let me give you my example of what you're talking about, because
Okay.
I believe that their consciousness could impact the physical reality. I don't know how or why I believe it, but I do. And I think this is in Joe Dispenza's book, but I'm not sure. there was a study where they had a robot in sort of a little field area, and it would just move randomly. It would move. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah,
it would move randomly. And then correct me if I get it wrong, because it's been a while since I heard this. Then they took a bunch of chicks, newborn chicks, and they imprinted the chicks on the robot. So the chicks imprint that's their mother now. The first thing they see in theory is who their mother is, right? So they imprinted on the robot, and then they put the robot back into space, but they put the chicks on the side who all they want is their mom. And they're chirping and whining and screaming for their mom. And apparently it influenced the randomness of the robot, who would spend the entire time going all over, and now the robot was spending all of its time down here.
Over by the chicks.
Over by the chicks. Now, I don't know the academic rigor of that research. I don't know anything. I think it's fascinating.
Who was the book that you talked about?
I think it was Joe Dispenza's book.
What's the name of the book?
I can't remember for the life of me.
Okay.
It's the same concept, right? That consciousness affects. So consciousness exists apart from physical reality, which of course it does. I say to my wife all the time, like, something is inside of us that goes away when we die. There is a thing in us, consciousness. So it's got to go somewhere. To your point, it's going to the collective, right?
I don't know if it's a collective, if it's just a bunch of individuals, if it's if I knew where it went, I would be
you'd probably be
famous
get the Nobel Peace Prize or
something.
Right.
Yes.
What's the takeaway from what you've learned? Like, if you can give them maybe 3 or 4 takeaways from your research for people who are interested in this topic.
Well, I think one thing is first opening your mind to it. And here's a way, if you're logical, that really was a game changer for me. It's the hard problem of consciousness. And that is, I've always kind of thought consciousness, without a doubt, was created by a brain. I thought there was some form of understanding of it that if I delved into neuroscience, people would know. But they have no idea, none, how it would work. And it is just as weird. Like, this whole idea of my saying there's an afterlife and consciousness survives outside of a brain, that is so weird. It makes no sense. And it also makes no sense that a set of mass and matter brain neurons come together and create our consciousness. And our consciousness is so complex. Like, if we were just here to like survive, reproduce, that was it. Okay, created by a brain. But both consciousness makes absolutely no sense, whichever theory.
Fundamentally.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you
So you're
believe.
saying to the audience, be open-minded. Like, understand that, like, what we're seeing every day, be open-minded, Mark. Like, what we're seeing every
Wide
day
open.
that's in front of us, there could be so much more that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
And not to
I
be
agree.
scared of it. Like, I feel like maybe your research has helped you to not be scared of it or nervous about it.
I wasn't scared of it. I'm much more scared of the idea of permanent obliteration. Like, I saw no reason to be scared of like other forms of
But it helped you with
consciousness.
your grief.
Helped me with my grief.
Yeah.
Very much.
You were involved in the Harvey Weinstein trial.
Yes.
And
yes.
you told us a little while ago that he is most absolutely guilty.
I don't doubt it. I mean, I wouldn't have gone on a stand in court and said he was guilty and put someone in jail if I wasn't 100% sure.
And what's your relation to him in general?
I wasn't actually in the apartment, but my dog Peanut, who is on the other side, my adorable little Chihuahua mix that you'll ever meet, like, he broke into our apartment once. Like, again, something I can't go into all the details of, but little Peanut, I was actually not there that day this happened, but she chased him around and he was terrified. And that came up in my first testimony.
Which he denies.
And it went viral, all over the world. So Peanut my little Chihuahua is world famous for chasing Harvey Weinstein, who was terrified of my 12-pound Chihuahua.
That's amazing.
So wait, I know you can't elaborate on it, but I want to make sure I heard what you said. Harvey Weinstein broke into your roommate's apartment.
Mine and my roommates, yeah. Again,
you can't
way
speak.
too tied into the testimony, so
Yeah.
I don't want to.
You know, in your heart of hearts and your logical brain of brains, that he is guilty of what he was charged with.
Very much, yes. I will say I actually feel really strongly about this. Right now, we have people who aren't even getting an iota of due process, and based on their skin color, based on some very arbitrary opinions of some people who have taken an abnormal amount of power, and there's a huge set of people who have no due process. They don't have money. They don't have, and then the average person gets decent due process. Maybe they get lucky and get a fantastic lawyer. And then the richest of rich get an
Rich.
absolutely fantastic amount of legal support. And I actually think the way it has worked with him is how it should work, even though I completely disagree with the overturning of the trial of the first verdict. Completely disagree with it. But I think my problem is not how it's gone for him. Again, I 100% disagree with the overturning of the first verdict. But as much as I don't know all the legal interactions. So, maybe there was stuff I did, I didn't understand.
We're not lawyers.
Judge would. Yeah.
We're not, judges, but we actually just had Porfido on, who totally agrees with you. Yeah. He was a defense attorney. So that's a good one. Yeah.
He was a prosecutor who changed because he didn't like the system. He thought it was rigged against defendants.
The defense.
I felt rigged against a little. I don't know. I mean, I guess what I feel is, I think everybody, regardless of their socioeconomic status, should have lawyers, especially if they're going to be in jail the rest of their lives. He didn't get a life sentence, but at his age, his sentence left him in jail the rest of his life. From the person who doesn't have a dollar to their name to the, someone like Bill Gates, everybody should have really good legal representation, no matter their side. And I think that's my problem. My main problem is the complete inequity.
Were you at all nervous getting up on the stand, knowing the power that Harvey has?
Oh, I didn't care about the power he has. Like, what's he going to do to me, But I was, had the adrenaline anxiety of, like, a powerful lawyer grilling me. But as soon as it started, I loved it. If I'm
you're so articulate. I'm sure, like, you could just nail it. I would be I
saw reports where they were talking about how you would snap back, that you weren't intimidated.
Oh, I love that.
Fighting
You're
back.
Feisty.
Right, feisty. Good word.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it upset you because your friend was involved, and I'm sure she was going through it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I really care about her. I care about, I hate injustice. And here was a specific instance that I knew the facts of, that, I can't run out and, like, change sexual assault and mistreatment of people and animals overall. What can I really do?
But you knew you could.
But in this one tiny situation of someone who has an inordinate amount of power, I knew the facts of exactly what had happened, and I could do something. Yeah, do something to, like, fight for this one tiny instance. So,
and you did it.
Thank you.
You did it. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
I would have been scared.
I would
have been so scared.
It can be intimidating.
I would have been so scared.
Just the whole setting.
I was terrified the night before.
Okay, yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, because I'm like, I can't believe she just walked in there ballsy, like, hey, no, I'm here.
Give me that Bible.
My whole adrenaline, like, before I walked in, then, like, once I walked in and sat, it was like, I don't know, it just felt like it, for me, and I don't think everyone feels this way, I felt very empowered.
I have two questions. They're real short. Your dog that passed.
Yes.
Do the same rules apply to that consciousness?
Oh, yeah.
A dog's consciousness, an animal, any animal.
Definitely.
Okay,
and
so
also,
they're all
I'll say why, because I don't think it's a very woo thing. If this is how brains work, why would one brain work differently than another? They're just slightly...
Consciousness is consciousness.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, we can see our animals.
Yeah.
That make me so happy.
See, we had a fish once when I was a kid. When I was seeing a fish again.
You have a dog.
He was called the Amazing He's not dead. Don't rush it. Jesus. I hope my son doesn't watch this.
What are you talking about? I'm not wishing death on your animals.
We had a fish called the Floating Petal of Death. My son named him. And the Amazing Bacon Fish. Yeah, my son was just a little kid. He's like, that one's the Amazing Bacon Fish. And of course, they both died. But we'll get to see them again someday.
Everyone dies.
Yes.
Fish,
everything
everyone,
dies,
yes.
Oh, shoot, I forgot my next question. It was just, and maybe this is a yes, no in the beginning, but do you see yourself ever getting to a point with your logical brain believing in God?
I mean, I'm not going to say no, because I mean, I never would have thought there was an afterlife. But if there, as of now, with all the information that's out there, no. But science is constantly evolving. And if suddenly, someone like at the University of Virginia or Dr. Dean Radin or one of these researchers comes out and says there is specific evidence that points in the direction of a God, which, how are you defining a God? Like a single individual consciousness that created all of this?
Then you already believe in that.
No, I don't.
Oh.
Well, there's not a person.
Oh,
or whatever.
single. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Single individual.
Got it.
Well, I don't know if our consciousness created this, or was it created by something we don't understand? Was it created just by pure Darwinian evolution, and consciousness evolved as much as like our body cells did? I have no idea. I mean, it seems the most logical is the Big Bang.
Oh, it's just that you didn't believe in the afterlife. You did your research, and now you do.
Yeah.
And
So
science
not
came
believing
up
in
and
God.
said, there is definitely a God.
Did you know you could then download consciousness or have thoughts of like somebody like Hitler or Pol Pot or Stalin? Like that's a terrible thought, right? If a kid can have memories of I was in World War II and it's testable and provable, then anyone born today could be like, oh yeah, I remember all the terrible things I did during World War II.
It probably already happens.
God, I hope not. Could you imagine?
Yes,
having
it
those
probably already
memories?
happens. There's many people out there that are, not great people.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
What if they're just reincarnate? Who knows?
Well, that would be good because then evil is contained. If you're an evil person, you can only go into an evil person.
Okay, this is like
that would be
next.
good.
We're going to start talking about The Sim.
Let's talk about that.
No.
Are we living in a reality?
No,
No.
we can't. It's
Maybe.
11 o'clock, but I would love it.
Oh, what a shame.
Oh man,
That's
just
a
stay
whole separate
longer.
conversation.
say by that?
Just
Yeah.
can't thank you enough. How can people reach you? How get the word out?
Oh yeah, please come check out my website, wtfjusthappened.net. You can find my 2 books. You can find my podcast. You can find I'm most active on Instagram. I also host science and spirituality salons, which are intimate events where I give a talk on the science and research, and a psychic medium who's verified and tested by scientists and researchers gives readings. So you can reach out and learn more about that.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
We will see you soon.
You always forget to go to that camera.
I like that.